Morning Show with Catherine and Julia. Today we will be talking about Japan.
Today, Japan, an island nation off the eastern coast of the Asian mainland, has the third largest economy in the world. Their large economy is a relative recent development, though.
In the decades after World War II, Japan experienced a period of rapid economic growth known as the post-war economic miracle. During this time, economic growth rates were as high as 12%. Along with the economic growth came an influx of Western culture and technology and a very high standard of living. Japan seemed like it had become an ideal society to live in.
However, in the 1990s, economic growth slowed and Japan experienced two very traumatic incidents, the Kobe earthquake and the subway siren incidents. The Kobe earthquake of the 1995 was one of the biggest that Japan ever experienced. In the subway siren incident, also in 1995, members of a cult released toxic gas in 3 of Tokyo's subway lines during rush hour, killing 13 people and injuring many more. These two events were a wake-up call for Japan's idyllic society.
And now we'll turn you over to Amina for an exclusive interview with one of Japan's most well-known authors, Haruki Murakami. He is the author of numerous novels and short stories. His writings have been translated into over 50 languages.
It is an honor to have you here on the show today, Mr. Murakami.
It is a pleasure to be here.
What authors did you like to read when you were growing up? How do you think this has influenced your writing?
When I was growing up, both of my parents were teaching Japanese literature. Despite this, I was always more interested in American authors like Kurt Vonnegut and Jack Kerouac. I don't consciously try to imitate other writers, but since many of my favorite authors are Western, I think my writing is unavoidably influenced by that culture and style.
Were you influenced by other aspects of Western culture as well?
Yes, I was exposed to many forms of Western culture when I was growing up. I think it must have bothered my parents that I sat in my room reading Western literature and listening to American music.
Many critics claim that your writing is overly Westernized. What do you think about this idea?
When I am writing, I don't make a distinction between Japanese culture and Western culture. I just write what comes to mind. But I also include Western culture to send a message about how Japan is changing.
What kinds of changes have you noticed?
As the economy grew, everyone seemed to become empty. There used to be a sense of idolism in Japan. But that has disappeared now, and that happened when everyone became rich. Everyone is so focused on money and material things. We have become a very consumerist society, and I think that has a lot been lost because of that.
How have you addressed this in your writing?
My characters struggle with things that are representative of today's Japanese society. They have issues with personal identity, or they long for something of the past. They are often very superficial and shallow. They live very routine, purposeless lives. They are dissatisfied with their lives. They want more. I wanted to show the effects of modern consumerist society on individuals.
Would you still consider yourself a Japanese author?
I am from Japan, and I write in Japanese, so yes, I would still consider myself a Japanese writer.
In 1995, following the Kobe earthquake and the subway siren incident, you returned to Japan after living in Europe and the United States for almost 10 years. Why did you make this decision?
These incidents are seen by many as a wake-up call for Japanese society, and I think that they were a wake-up call for me as well. I wanted to return to Japan to write some more meaningful works. After the sarin attacks, I interviewed many survivors as well as members of the cult that carried out the attacks, which I released in my book, Underground. With these interviews, I was really trying to find out what it means to be Japanese. How had our society evolved to become somewhere where things like this would happen?
Unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Murakami.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Amina. It's interesting to hear about Murakami's perspectives on Japanese and Western culture, since he is influenced by aspects from both.
Thanks for tuning in today. On tomorrow's show, we will interview a couple who was caught after stealing 30 burgers from a McDonald's restaurant in Tokyo.